Welcome to my CBSE English teacher. Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. About the poet. Pablo Neruda was a Nobel Prize winning Chilean poet, diplomat, and politician. He started writing poetry when he was 13 years old. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1971. The theme of the poem. Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda is a deceptively simple poem about the need for a little bit of soul searching, which may help us make peace with ourselves and others. It tells us how a moment of silent introspection will make us realize the utter futility of our aggressive endeavors. Summary of the poem. By asking the reader to count 12, the poet calls for a time to be calm and unmoving. His use of the number 12 could be associated to the clock hours or possibly even the number of months in a year. Both attributions, however, effectively depict how our hours and months pass by as we continue to chase them without even a pause. Again, the poet reinforces his call not to take a step further, move, or speak. The appeal to not speak in any language is symbolic of asking people to now speak in one language, silence. This would bring everyone together and lead us to introspection. Move our arms so much can be considered as merely brisk walking or signifying violence and our selfish pursuits. It is to be noted how the poet mentions once and 1 second in this stanza. The appeal is set on the premise that humans are constantly speaking and constantly moving. Again, a reinforcement on the lack of time to be still and introspective. The poet introduces the impact of unity. The poet proceeds to ask the reader to consider and bask on the glory of this rare occurrence, where the usual flurry of diverse human activity is now silenced to a standstill and is in surprising unity. As humans are perceived to be unique in their own ways and possess free will, a complied, deliberate silence of all shall create this mysterious yet wonderfully unusual unanimity. The poet talks about the virtues of quietness. The poet shows how, because of this, humans would now have more time to think about their actions and how they would have the time to notice the details that surround their daily lives. Knowing the power they have over nature, but also being aware of where they stand, humans now demonstrate their free will not to harm nature. Mentioning about the man gathering salt, who notices that his very hands are hurt, displays the result of retrospection. In this part, the poet references wars and those participate in it to drive his point home. Because there is now a time to breathe in and out without being required to do what is usually done or blindly follow others, there will also be time for introspection. And through this, humans are now able to see how in a war there really are no winners. Due to introspection, people can choose not to be a part of dissension. Another symbolism can be spotted when the poet mentions put on clean clothes. This is not just to emphasize how with war there is the shedding of blood, but rather the very act of putting on new clothes can be seen as taking on a different role, a different persona, and basically having a different take on the matter at hand. He wants all of us to be united as one. Consider our enemy to be our brother. He is promoting brotherhood, peace, and unity. He does not want us to stop our works, but to take some time and analyze the results of our deeds. All human beings work endlessly with the aim of completing all their tasks. They are driven by the target of survival and the threat of death. So they are in a mad rush to accomplish all their works. He says that perhaps if they pause for a while, they can appreciate their achievements and their lives would become happier. He suggests that by keeping quiet, we will be able to understand the true purpose of our life. The poet suggests us to take a teaching from nature. As the earth undergoes changes in winter, everything freezes, becomes lifeless, but after some time, the season changes again and everything comes back to life. Similarly, taking a pause and introspecting into our lives will give it a new meaning. We will be able to understand the purpose of our life. It will be like a rebirth of the soul. The poet has conveyed to all the people the purpose of his message, and so he asks them once again to take a pause, count till 12, and walks out of the scene, keeping the scene open for all the people on the earth to experience this for times to come. Poetic devices: arms, pun; sudden strangeness, alliteration; his hurt hands, alliteration; wars with fire, wars with gas, repetition; the earth can teach us, personification; symbolism. Symbolism is abundant in keeping quiet. Fisherman and whale stands for the oppressor and the oppressed respectively. Salt gatherer is symbolic of humanity, whereas clean clothes symbolizes peace. Questions and answers. Question number 1. Which is the exotic moment that the poet refers to in keeping quiet? Answer. The poet refers to the moment of stillness and quietness as an exotic moment. It would be an exotic moment as such a tranquility will initiate peace and brotherhood. There would be no moment, no talk, no activity, and consequently no violence. Question number 2. What are the different kinds of wars mentioned in the poem? What is Neruda's attitude towards these wars? Answer. The poet has written about wars against humanity and nature. Green wars, wars with poisonous gases, and wars with fire are the different kinds of wars mentioned in the poem. Wars do good to no one. Pablo Neruda feels that such wars may bring victory, but there are no survivors. It means that there is heavy loss on both sides. Question number 3. According to the poet, what is it that human beings can learn from nature? Answer. Life under apparent stillness in attitude is a thing which man can learn from nature. The earth is never a state of total inactivity. Nature carries on its work even when there is stillness all around. Winter is associated with inactivity, but this is not actually true. I hope you liked this video. Thank you for watching. For more informative videos, do subscribe to my CBSE English teacher. Please like, share and comment. Thank you.